short. I ended up starting my recording and it had been running for like 20 minutes, so I decided to restart. I'll go through my previous trades, but I'm short here again. I took a little loss at this double bottom, pulling in even more longs, really no significant buying at all. So to me that just looks like a way to trap some more longs. So I like the chance to really just crush down. I mean, we could go all the way down into this 44.21 area, and but I'm going to manage this. We'll see. This is our another buyer here, so 44.29 is a good target. I'm going to try to get that one, and that would be basically almost 8 points. We need to go here. I'm going to try not to take off my risk, but we have more trapped buyers and large limit selling now. So let's just hope it makes it easy and it doesn't come back to take me out. But the pullback expectation is that that's around my entry. So I want to give this a little bit of chance to work without getting taken out as well. So, but that's where we're going to see those last trapped longs get taken out. So, and that's I just got taken out for break even. I did not allow a retest of this limit selling, which makes sense, but now we'll see if like I said, these longs are trapped in here, longs potentially trapped at the lows, this large limit selling coming in, so makes sense it will take this low. I'm going to look for a re-entry. It's not going to be probably as good of a price as I had, but see if my read is correct. This is not a great break even, because after this trigger bar, this would have been my entry on the pullback. So I entered early, had a good price, didn't sit through the pullback, and now we're likely to take this low. So not really very good execution. Well, not good execution, bad management on the trade. So I'm just not seeing any strong buying coming in here at all. So until that happens, I definitely expect lower prices. I was hoping to see a push above into this area in this hold and an imbalance down, and that just didn't happen. So just trading what I want rather than what I'm seeing. So shorts are really off the table for me now. Well, I don't know where we're going to go from here. This is definitely not real weak. There was some pretty significant buyer absorption here, and I mean, not real high volume though. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us revisit this, but until we get back below these last sellers, it looks like the sellers in this area are potentially trapped, and when we push below these lows, we definitely found buyers. So just hasn't come together very well for me today. I lost my last video because I left it playing for 20 minutes and forgot to pause it. But I took a short at the open at the low side of the range here. Expectation that we would come down, fill in some of the space, but we had pretty significant buyer absorption as well. And then I took another loss, a reduced loss at 901, which is in this area. So I jumped the short here at 30. Well, I took a loss here on this. We pushed down, got this trigger, came back down into this absorption, and I took a short aggressively down here. And when we didn't hold this volume, I took a loss. I killed the trade. And then right here again, looked like we pushed into this previous supply, took the short right around here, and then we imbalanced down. This was kind of my trigger. Went about basically almost 5 points in my favor, but I got taken out here. So not a very good management here. But on this push down, it makes sense to break even below this low. And then so far I was just, like I talked about, was looking for another short opportunity, which my read was not correct so far as moving down. So we have a buyer dominated area in here, buyers coming in here, so questionable to try to trade for the imbalance or the push down. But to me it seemed like we had a lot of longs stuck But again, a lot of those longs all in this area were already pushed out through this move down, all of these. So not much to do now unless I want to get back on the long side, but probably just going to be watching for a while. So I sold the lows here, sold the lows in here, and just not choosing very good trade locations, obviously, looking at the result after the fact, but it's definitely an observation that I need to pay attention to. Definitely had a significant move up, so it was kind of a battle here in this area. Now we're basically just right around the point of control, being in the overnight range, as well as look at this on a 5-minute chart. It's a little bit easier to see, but yesterday's trade were right at the upper side of value, so we're basically rejecting value. So expectation is that we're either going to fall back into this value, come back to the point of control, and I mean, this is just not a strong low. I mean, it did take out this previous liquidity here, but we still have this target here and all of this weak, what I would consider weak overnight trade. Is that going to happen today? I have no idea, but now trading short is precarious because this is all into trouble now. So maybe we hold these areas, and I possibly can be looking towards the long side up into this 62.25 area, but we definitely have some work to do to get back into my previous idea. We'll see if any large buying. It's also 9:45, so we have about 15-20 minutes until the lunch hour. So hopefully I'm trying to get a good trade in here sometime, but I've missed my fills on the good trades, and I've taken the losses on the poor location trades. So that's how it goes sometimes. So we've came all the way down below this structure, and now we are approaching taking out these lows again back into this area that I've been this real pronounced LVN, this spike up, this imbalance of price, this unfair price from the pre-open news. And really I just want to see what happens when we have some real big volume come in here. This is likely long liquidation, but also absorption. So I'd like to see what happens when we test this volume. Hopefully I can get some kind of structure up into this area. Ideally, another chance for these longs to be pushed out, anybody that's still in there, and then a short down through the bottoms. But I don't know if I'm probably doesn't look like I'm going to get that. Trying the short, 36.25 short at the bottom of the range. Looks like I am going to be the trapped long. Worst price, and taken out for another loss. This was an unfortunate spike out. My entry 36.25 and loss 39, and came back up into this area that I wanted to see tested, and I just didn't see a real solid area. I guess around here would have been a good area when this volume didn't hold for a re-entry. Around maybe the 39.50, a little lower. And here we are to hit my target at the 29. So 7-point win on that one. And it was a loss. So now I would fully expect that at some point we're probably going to see all of this space filled in and this area revisited. So just can't do anything right today. Taking a short here. Tight risk. Expectation is to take out these lows. It just seems like we have a lot of limit selling coming in, so I'm trying to jump the push down. So we have some limit buying coming in here as well, but I may be on the wrong side here, and it looks like I am. It's got to hold here and go, otherwise I got to kill this again. And it looks like I'm stuck trader here. We definitely have some limit buying coming in at the lows. Oh man, that was a good spike down. See if my read is right here, and if I can get a nice trade through the bottom. And kind of trap that last buyer now. I'm at a little bit of a tough spot, but it was definitely an aggressive entry. think we got a lot of trapped buyers here in this market still. I'll be looking to take this down into this, at least into this low tick at the 21.75 and manage it from there. This was pretty key on this trade, this last attempt by a buyer, and they were just slammed out. There's also a limit buyer here, so we're going to see what happens when we test that volume. I'd just like to see it go here. We'll see. Can't be easy. There's some big buyers and sellers on both sides. It's got to hold this volume. But I feel like that buyer is stuck, so got to allow the retest. Right back to my entry, of course. Got to let my trade idea play out. It's not comfortable though, being right at my entry. You're either going to absorb here, obviously, and push down, or rip me out. This next test of this limit buyer, I'm going to have to take my risk off, because if they're still there and accumulating, that's obviously a problem for this trade, and that's not a good response. Just don't have a very comfortable entry, but can't always be comfortable. I'm gonna trust my read, but it's just the problem is it's such a big stop on the upside to where I'm still not wrong on the trade. Yeah, that's not good. Back to my entry again. I'm gonna have to kill this. This is the last chance. See if we don't, hopefully we can push these buyers out. Go. This is the area. No point in keeping risk on at this point. If we see a big buyer come in here, definitely likely that it'll revisit the top side of range. So, but not really any big volume coming in anymore, so that's a good sign that these buyers may be exhausted. Push them out. I'm taking my risk off now to break even here. And not really any volume coming in, so that's a good sign that this limit buyer right here is not really in this market anymore, and the sellers may be in control. Can I survive any kind of pullback though is the question, and that's not a good response. Gotta hold. Would really love to have a win now. The market doesn't care what I want, but there's really a nice potential to get down into this LVN at the 2050. So that's what I'll be shooting for, and with my entry at 29.25, that's a huge win. But we have some people in trouble here. And below this, really all this weakness could go, but for a day trade, getting almost a 10-point trade, that's going to be more than great for me. Not really seeing any buying coming in at all, so we got to see this push though. Yeah, that's not good. Just got to get lucky now. I don't imagine if the sellers are in control that they're going to let price get all the way back up there. and then they're looking to accumulate more, and then I don't really want to be in this trade at this price anyway. So, but a little bit of increased volume, but nothing significant. Just not cooperating. Yeah, I'm gonna get taken out. Yep. Oh man, what a frustrating day. I'm going to just sit and document the frustration and the management, because it's super important for me to be able to go back and look at this. My stop held by a tick. I went to +1. Yeah, that's a good response right there. This is the last chance for the buyers to take back control, in my opinion, until we see some more strong limit buying coming in. But I mean, we're going to see a limit buying response in this area, but they're going to have to get pushed out, and that's what I'm looking for right there. Bam. I got to lock in something on this trade, but they're real in big trouble now. These lows are likely to get taken. Nothing but potentially trapped longs in here now. Don't really want to take the pullback all the way up though, so that's a problem as well. This needs to go. We're seeing definitely some size coming in on the limit, but let's flush this out. Give it a chance to go. I'm locking in 6 points, and I just got taken out. Not going to allow the pullback all the way up. So this is a pretty significant response, which when there's this battle going on with these limit buyers in here, but I'll take that. I mean, it's very unlikely that we stop here, and better target would probably be this 1575. All my expectations have been met on this as far as longs being trapped. I mean, look at this. After I took my short right in here to take it off for 6 points before the break of the low, and then unfortunately not waiting for that break of that low, just crushed down. We can see what price did in this area. So I was in here and definitely would have had some drawdown. Well, not drawdown, but the majority of my trade, my equity would have been taken, and then the stop did hold hard, trading back into this volume, but we hadn't broken the low. So holding on to this trade definitely got me down to take out all of this, and this would be the ultimate target, at least down into this LVN at the 40, like 30, this area right here, this LVN at 4,400 even, and we went far past that. So I mean, this is not a very strong low either, so expectation that we could definitely before the end of the day break this. But we do have some buying coming in here now. I think the sellers are in the short term somewhat exhausted, and we're seeing some buying coming in, some pretty decent limit buying anyway. In this last kind of exhaustion move down, we had limit buying coming in here, limit buying coming in here, and then limit buying coming in here, and then with an imbalance up. So I almost considered taking a long just back to the volume here where we had this limit, and then to take that up, the target would have been this 44.03 or 0250 actually would have been ideal, and that didn't quite get hit, but wouldn't be surprised to see these shorts stuck and another push up into that area. But I'm still definitely context short until something pretty significant changes, but that's what I'm looking at now. Interesting to note, where did price stop? 44.0175, only 624 contracts traded at that price, so that is the absolute LVN of that move. And that's, you can see this red line here, but you can see it on the dome as well. Only 624 contracts traded, so that's the most unfair price, and that's where price stopped before coming back down. Not saying that we're probably likely to revisit it, but on the first test, that is a great area to take the trade off, you know, perhaps in front of that LVN just a tick or two. 0150, 0125. Just took a short here at 96.50, and it looks like I'm in trouble possibly, but let's see if this volume holds. Doesn't. Oh man, it's got to hold here. I think I'm gonna be in trouble. It's got to hold this volume. Got to hold here. Have some nice limit selling coming in now. It's a battle. It's definitely a battle. We got to hold this. Have some buying coming in a little bit below, but I think that we still have the potential to take out this downside, trading off this LVN, the trapped longs. Don't love my position here. Once again, I feel like I've been saying that a lot. It's got to go. Nah. I'm out. For a 8-tick, 9-tick loss on that one. I was trading on this imbalance down, this push down, that we had these longs trapped again, and we didn't hold this. This is what I wanted to see hold, the underside of this structure. Well, we'll see if we have a chance to get short again. So let's just do a little recap. My trigger was this 1251 bar, but as Kelly said, he took a plus 27 in this move and I failed to re-enter. So my trigger here was directly the first test of this trouble. So first test of this trouble right here. Also this limit buyer. So after we made this high tick, likelihood of pushing back through this low is more likely, and then it went. So that's the difference. So close, but no cigar. Sitting at a negative day, not terrible, but really good context, really good read overall, and just unable to execute properly.